What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of EDH Workshop. I'm MC Sebzi. Welcome to the Monkaroos, and today we are talking about Neyith of the Dire Hunt. Neyith is a, I guess, human commander that cares about fighting and blocking, but I actually built my werewolf deck around Neyith. So this is my fighting werewolves. Werewolf deck was originally led by, I want to say, man, don't even remember. I think I had a partner pairing. I think I had the old Helana and Elena, but yeah, changed it up, found Neyith, thought it was super cool. Also, you know, fit the flavor of, you know, she's a friend to like the wolves, right? So she's kind of like the wolf leader. But yeah, so Neyith is 4 mana 3/3. When one or more creatures I control fight or become blocked, I draw a card. And at the beginning of my combat on my turn, I can pay 2 and a Gruul hybrid to double target creature's power until end of turn. And that creature must be blocked this combat. So, pretty dope. Makes things big. Better for fighting as well. But yeah, so let's get into it with Planeswalkers. I got a couple. Arlen, Voice of the Pack. Really here just for the anthem on wolves. They enter with an additional +1/+1 counter, and werewolves, and creates me a 2/2 wolf. I got Samut, gives all my creatures haste so they can attack right away, and I can give a creature +2/+1 in haste and scry 1. So just simple guys, really just to help, you know, grease the wheels a little bit. But let's get right into the creatures, all the werewolves. I got Archetype of Aggression in here, really just to give my creatures trample, so when they are blocked, they're still getting through for big damage. First werewolf, Daybreak Ranger. I've realized I gotta start flipping these, eh? Is there a flip command? Nah, eh? Alright, well, Daybreak Ranger just taps to deal 2 damage to anything with flying, so beneficial for that. And then I can have it actually fight target creature with a red and a tap, so really good in the deck. Gruul Rage Beasts, when it or another creature enters the battlefield, it fights a creature an opponent controls. This is just a consistent fight. Kind of expensive for 7 mana, but it allows everything to just fight, especially once it's nighttime or whatever and my creatures enter on the backside. Hermit of the Natternolls, whenever an opponent casts a spell during my turn, I draw a card, and then it flips over into whenever an opponent casts a spell, I draw 2 cards, so just a little bit of card advantage on a werewolf. Also a 3/5 body. Hound Tamer, it can put a +1 counter on target creature and it has trample. Flips over, and it gives all my wolves and werewolves trample, and still has the ability to put the counters on. Howlpack Piper is a really good one, can't be countered, and I can tap 2 and tap it to put a creature card from my hand on the battlefield. If it's a wolf or werewolf, I can untap her, so works great synergies in the deck. And when it's flipped over, when it enters the battlefield, it transforms. I can look at the top 6 cards in my library, reveal a creature, and put it into my hand, and put the rest at the bottom of my library. So, a little selection draw. I got Lambhold to Elder. Nothing on the front side, but I believe when it turns onto the back side, it has deal damage, draw a card, so super good, especially, you know, with trample and whatnot. 4/5 body too. So a big thing is all my werewolves transform, and then I have them fight, because now they're bigger and better. 2/2 first strike on Kroon, but it turns into a 3/3 double strike, and each werewolf I control can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, so now I'm actually drawing 2 cards per block, because it's whenever 1 or more creatures I control becomes blocked. So if it becomes blocked by multiple creatures, then I draw multiple cards. Kessig Naturalist attacks, it adds me a red or a green, good for some mana ramp, and then when it turns around, it's a lord for all my werewolves, and still has the mana I can add. Instigator Gang gives all my attacking creatures +1/+0, and then flips to a trample that gives them all +3/+0. So really good. Once again, mid-combat fights are really beneficial. Immerwolf just is a lord for all my werewolves and stops them from transforming into humans, which is great. Huntmaster of the Fells, when it enters the battlefield or transforms, I put a 2/2 green wolf, and I gain 2 life, and it flips over to Ravager of the Fells, and it deals 2 damage to an opponent and 2 damage to 1 target creature, and it's a 4/4 trample. Just an old card from my old werewolf deck that I just loved and wanted to put in here. A lot of my decks tend to be remakes of old classic decks I used to have, like standard decks or whatever back in the day. But yeah, like I like the flavor and the nostalgia of it really. Mayor of Averbrook is just a lord for my werewolves, and he flips over to also give me 2/2 wolves at the beginning of my end step. Moondread Shaman does nothing on the front side, but it flips over to a whenever an opponent casts a spell, it deals 2 damage to that player. Also a 5/5. It starts as a 3/2, which ain't too bad either to fight. It's a good trade. I got Outland Liberator to sack to destroy an artifact or enchantment, and just turns into a 3/3 with the same ability. Scorned Villager adds mana to my mana pool, small mana dork, and it turns into a 2/2 Vigilance that adds 2 mana. Spirit of the Hunt enters the battlefield. Each other creature that's a wolf or werewolf gets +0/+3. This is good at flash speed primarily, but also for fighting creatures. If I'm gonna fight with a bunch of creatures, it's better survivability. Tovalar's Huntmasters here enters, gives me a 2/2 wolf, and when it attacks, I create 2/2 wolves, and also gives another target wolf fights target creature. So again, fits the fighting theme. I got Wolfkin Outcast. It makes all my werewolves cost 2 less, and it flips into a 6/5, and when it or another werewolf dies, I draw a card, so super good. Wolfear Silverheart just comes down, pairs with another creature, gives them both +4/+4, so really good for fighting. Werewolf Pack Leader, when it attacks, if I attack with total power 6 or greater, I draw a card, and I can make something power and toughness 5/3 against trample. So also good for some fights if one of my older werewolves haven't flipped because the day-night cycle doesn't fit with them. Really good there. Weaver of Blossoms taps for a mana, and then it flips over and taps for 2 mana of any color, so similar to the Moonscarred werewolf. Tovalar Dire Overlord, I hear, is a really good addition to werewolf decks. Not personally, I'm not the biggest werewolf expertise, but I hear it's really good to have all your werewolves draw you cards when they connect. But yeah, and then also helps flip all my werewolves. Really great addition in the deck. And then it's got the +X/+0 trample for blocks and whatnot. Super great addition. I've thought about changing him to the leader, but I'm like, you know what? It's more about the fighting than it is about the werewolves, because werewolves aren't really all that good on their own. Down to sorceries and instants. Here's where all the fight spells. I just chalked in all of the best ones, the cheaper ones if possible, but always looking for good utility on them. So Barroom Brawl, target creature I control fights creature to my left, to the opponent to my left, and that player may copy it and choose new targets, so it can go all the way around the table. But either way, my werewolf fights something for cheap. 2 mana as well here, gives a creature +1/+2, fights target creature. Azuri's Predation, this basically makes all my creatures, it creates me a 4/4 for each of my opponent's creatures, and they all fight, drawing me tons of cards. Farseek is in here. Actually, does Azuri's Predation actually draw me tons of cards? Whatever one or more creatures I control fight. So if they all fight at the same time, I would only draw 1 card. But Azuri's Predation is still really good, fits the fight theme. Farseek's for ramp. Hall Breach destroys artifacts and enchantments. Into the Night makes it nighttime, and I'm able to discard as many cards and draw 1 plus that, which is really good. Revenge of the Hunted gives a creature +6/+6 and trample, and all creatures able to block it this turn do so, basically putting a lure effect on one big creature. Also, I can miracle it for 1 green, draws me the card, but allows all the rest of my werewolves to get through. Primal Might, target creature gets +6/+6, then fights something. Prey Upon, target creature fights something. Overrun, gives all my creatures +3/+3 and trample, again, so that when they do get blocked, there's still damage going through, and I'm still drawing cards. Out Muscle puts a counter on something and it fights a creature, and if I've used at least 3 mana to cast it, it gives all my creatures indestructible. Kodama's Reach is a ramp. Savage Punch, target creature fights something, and if I give it +2/+2 if I control a creature with power 4 or greater. Savage Smash gives something +2/+2 and it fights. Savage Stomp costs 2 less if it targets a dinosaur I control, which it won't, but puts a +1 counter on target creature and it fights. Time to Feed, choose a creature, and when it dies I gain 3 life, then target creature fights that creature. Unnatural Moonrise turns it into night and gives all my creatures, it gives target creature +1/+0, and when it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card and trample, plus the flashback, really solid card. Moonlight Hunt, onto instance. Choose target creature. Each creature I control that's a wolf or werewolf deals damage equal to its power to that creature. Now I know this isn't exactly a fight, but it's really good removal if I have a board of werewolves and there's a big threat. Heaven deals X damage to creatures with flying, because a lot of werewolves don't have the reach. And then Earth deals X damage to each creature without flying, so in the odd chance that my board already gets wiped, then I'm able to rewipe. Fog's in here for Fog. Duel of Dominance. Choose target creature I control, and then target creature I don't control. If I control 3 or more creatures with different powers, then put a +1 counter on the chosen creature I control, and they fight. Overcomplicated fight. Collision deals 6 damage to target creature with flying, so flying removal, and then Colossus gives target creature +4/+2 and trample until end of turn, so again, get over blocks. Ancient Grudges in here. It destroys an artifact and has a flashback. Moon Mist transform, also wolf in the art, so you know we're looking for that flavor. Moon Mist just transforms all my humans and prevents, it's basically a fog for my werewolves, I believe. Pit Fight, fight target creature. Pounce, fight target creature. Citizen Tactics, I can target multiple creatures and it costs green extra for each one, but any number of target creatures gets +1/+1 and gains tap, fight target creature. So really all the fight spells I can muster. I just recently took out a couple to increase my mana base because it was a bit short. But yeah, that's the plan of the deck. For artifacts, we just got a bit of ramp, Gruul Coolstone, Moss Diamond, the Celestis, which is great for the Night Day cycle stuff. Onto enchantments. Arnie slays the troll. Target creature fights up to 1 target creature I don't control. Then it's got some stuff where I can put the +1 counter and gain life, you know, equal to the number of creatures I control or whatever. Greatest power amongst creatures, sorry. Cartouche of Strength. When it enters the battlefield, enchanted creature fights target creature. It also gives it +1 in Trample. Trample's, I guess, a small theme in the deck because I am going to be attacking a lot, and, you know, I want blocks to not matter as much, you know. Colossal Majesty on my upkeep. On my upkeep, I draw a card with a creature power 4 or greater. Vars of Yamimawa gives my creatures haste, and it has the sack to give a creature +2/+2 if needed. Full Moon Rise gives my werewolves creatures +1/+0 in trample, and I can regenerate them all by sacking the enchantment. Howlpack Resurgence flashes in, and each creature I control that's a wolf or werewolf gets +1/+1 and trample. Again, really great. Warbrier's Blessing enters an enchanted creature fights something, also gives it +2 to power, to toughness, sorry. Triumph of Annex, until end of turn, target creature gets +X/+0 and trample, where X is the number of lord counters on it, and then on the last stage, it has something fight something else. Rhythm of the Wild just gives all my creatures haste and can't be countered, basically, or +1 if I have fight spells in my hand. And that's basically the deck. Lands are pretty straightforward. I just put a bunch of Gruul. I got Fungal Reach, Game Trail, Gruul Turf. This returns a creature at random, which is useful sometimes. Stomping Ground, this gives trample, and useful lands. But that's basically the deck. Here's some other statistics. And yeah, it's really fun, honestly. Like, it's werewolf stuff, so you got to keep track of a lot of the cycles and stuff, but it's interesting to, you know, kind of just be this fight based deck with this like sub theme of a clan, I guess, or a tribe. But yeah, allowed me to put all these wolves and werewolves. There's been a lot of new ones like Werewolf Pack Leader, and even with the new set Tovalar, like great additions to werewolf tribals. But yeah, I really enjoyed the deck. It's really something different. It's not your usual werewolf deck. But yeah, thanks you for tuning in, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck. You could check it out on my Mox field. I'm MC_Sebzy. Make sure to like and subscribe if you liked the video, and I'll definitely be tuning in with another one very soon. So look out for that. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you later.